Hey guys, Cam315 back out of another video for you guys, and I am back with another Flagrant Flower Blooms with Dignity episode review for you guys as we got the finale to Flagrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. And man, what a beautiful ending, man. What a beautiful ending. We have yet to get a season 2 announcement, but I 100% hope we do get a season 2 announcement. It does feel like it's one of these romance shows that deserves to get a season 2 announcement, especially done by the same studio that does Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai and My Dress Up Darling. I think it's more than likely going to get greenlit for season 2 because there's clearly still more content there is to adapt, and especially the fact of Rintaro and Karuko's relationship, and the fact that, hey, we may be finally seeing them date and go out as a couple. But man, this episode was really good. And this episode is, I guess, what I've been kind of asking for the entire time, and wondering if we're ever going to get the perspective of everything going through Karuko's lens, which was absolutely crazy. It took us till the final episode to get to that, of season 1 to get to that, but damn, it was a really great episode where I'm just like, oh no. See, yeah, these two definitely need to start going out, right? So obviously, you remember from last week's episode, Karuko and Rintaro's friends all hung out with each other at the beach and had the fireworks thing, and then Rintaro abruptly out of the blue, because he doesn't want to spend any time away from Karuko, blurts up that he likes her in a romantic way. And we ended up off in the cliffhanger where he ended up giving her a call to discuss about this. And I said, I hope this is kind of the thing where he does not tell her, like, hey, forget about what I saw, right? And it kind of leads us to having our first drama. And we didn't get that, actually. We didn't get that, actually. So he calls her. Or one, we start the episode off, right? At first, I was wondering, like, whoa. Did I miss an episode or something? Because all of a sudden, they're going to this festival together, like this summer festival. And she's in her really cute kimono, all dolled up and everything, and he, and I'm just like, whoa, did I miss something? Do I need to go back to the last episode to make sure I didn't miss like a extra post credit scene or some shit like that? No. It was a little bit of flash forward into the future. So we get a flashback to the call they had over the phone. Now Rintaro, he does tell her how he's sorry for like putting this, the confession he had for her and blurting it out like that. Like, he didn't mean to be rude and insensitive to her feelings, and just, let her, and just and essentially, basically just to say like, hey, I apologize. It was selfish of me to put my feelings on you like that, on the spot like that, and making you feel some sort of way. So I do like the fact how, and he doesn't say this just in this time, he says it later on in their at the bench conversation at the festival, how he feels really sorry for pushing these selfish feelings on her out of the blue and everything. But again, I don't blame him. Like, look, man, if you're a dude and you like this girl, or you like a girl in general, like, even if it is a little bit selfish, and even if it is, now I will say there is a time and a place to probably announce that, like, yay, yada yada yada, right? But again, I applaud Rintaro for being selfish, because he does not want to be lonely. He understands what he has in Karuko, and he understands how much Karuko truly means to him because of how much she's changed him for the better, and he doesn't want to lose that. And most importantly, he hopes, even if maybe she doesn't reciprocate the same feelings back to him, is the fact that they can still be friends and he can still hang out and talk with her, because he still does have those feelings deep down. It's just he's got to be respectful of her feelings and be platonic of them, right? So he ends up saying like, hey, maybe at some point we can talk about this later, right? And he basically said, look, I just don't want to stop seeing you. I want to continue to hang out and get to be with you. And she's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. But can I have this one request though? Can I be the one to choose where I would like to go? And he's like, yeah, sure, where do you want to go? And she's like, I would like to go to the summer festival. So that makes the whole thing. And they go all alone. No, not with any of Rintaro's friends, not with Subaru, just the two of them alone. Which I was like, yes. So it's kind of a little bit of a date. Right? I do kind of wish Rintaro maybe dressed himself up a little bit more for the occasion. Maybe had a button-up shirt or, something like that. He kind of wore his casual just t-shirt and, just pants and everything. I kind of do wish he kind of, looked a little bit more respectable. Like, I'm just saying, like, you're taking this girl out on a date to this festival. Like, come on, man. Fresh up the game. Hopefully, and I mean hopefully, when his mom and his dad finds out, like, oh, him and Kaoruko are kind of seeing each other and they're going out, I would hope that they tell him, like, hey, man, you got a girlfriend, a really cute one at best. You need to freaking look more, you need to look more good. You need to dress yourself up, look more handsome for this girl, right? You just can't be going here with your white t-shirt and just your pants. Like, at first, I'm just saying, like, even I have to admit, Rintaro, he needs to step his game up. He needs to step his dress game up. So maybe next season, maybe he starts to do that the more they hang out, right? But again, Kaoruko doesn't really care, so that's the thing, right? So she shows up. She's all dolled up, bro. This season has showed her looking all sorts of cute. Again, Kaoruko is a whole cute, adorable snack. I know, I simp. So, what is it? They basically go into the festival, and you get this whole montage of them having fun at the festival, and I'm just like, yo, this is so cute, it's so dope, all great. And then they end up eating like these sweets, right? She ends up eating this candy apple. That she's got some candy apple stuff. I thought eventually Rintaro would like, hey, you got something, because he does mention like, hey, you got some, candy apple on your cheek. I thought he would end up like grabbing it, but he doesn't do that. She wipes it off and everything, and eventually they're like, hey, you kind of tired? Did you want to like, get, sit down and get a walk and everything? Sit down on a bench and maybe like rest everything. And that's what they end up doing. So they end up getting like some sort of fizzy drinks, probably like a soda or something, or some, like, I guess you can say sparkling water. And they just kind of sit there and everything. And they kind of talk a bit about like how the festival's been going. But then they had that moment where they're like face to face close again. And it kind of like, and they're obviously clearly flustered and everything. And then this one, Rintaro, my man, makes his move again, and he's like, and he brings the whole thing. He's like, hey, look, I have to tell you something, Wagari. And he goes on and he tells her straight to her face right then and there. He's like, I like you. And he further elaborates the whole thing, and he's like, look, I apologize for being all selfish and everything and putting my feelings on you like this, but, I thought back to the beach, the day we went to the beach, and I continue to further realize, that, I don't want to be lonely anymore, and I'm tired of basically, just keeping things bottled inside, because I want to hang out with you. I want to be around you. I want to be with you. Right? And I can't, basically signifying he can't live without her. Like, he literally goes on and says, like, can we, is it okay if we start going out together? Like, he basically told her, like, look, I understand how couples truly feel when they care about each other and everything, and you've opened my eyes and you've helped me and you really mean something special to me. And he literally asked her, like, I want to start going out. And he literally goes from to make the mention. He's like, look, I understand the school differences between us, but he comes to the point where he's like, look, I don't even care about that anymore, because any time that we have together, it means something to me, and I always want to be with you, and I want to be together with you forever. And I'm just like, my boy Rintaro spinning game. I'm like, yes, my God, just get off your chest. Tell her how much you love her, right? Like, I'm sorry, bro. He said like he likes her, but the way the speech he gave, that was basically a damn near no, I love you speech. Like, no, you are the one, you're my one and only. I want to be with you. And when he said like, I want to be with you together forever, essentially, right? I'm just like, dog, if that isn't a I love you type of meaning, like he not even only saying like I want to not only be your girlfriend or your boyfriend, I want to be your husband. Like after we're done with high school and college. And I'm just like, my guy, my guy. Now he does again say like, look, I'm really sorry that I'm being really selfish and I'm pushing my feelings on you, and I'm putting you in a wrong spot like this, and this is probably very inappropriate, but I just can't. I can't handle it anymore. And again, like I said, I don't blame the dude. Like he clearly loves this girl. He wants to go out with this girl. He wants Kaoruko to be his girlfriend. And I respect that. And I respect him for standing up and telling him what he wants. Kaoruko is like, no, you're not being selfish. It's okay. I really like the fact that you feel that way about me. She ends up going to say, like, do you remember the first time we met? And I'm just thinking, like, oh yeah, the cake shop moment, right? And that's what Rintaro makes mention of. And she's like, no, we definitely didn't meet. That was definitely not the first time we met. And I'm just like, huh? I'm like, don't tell me, we're gonna get this cliche type of thing where, they clearly, he met her as a kid. He may have did because she made him mention like, you saved me, right? And I'm just like, okay. And I'm thinking like, oh, is it gonna be one of these flashbacks where, the reason why Rintaro doesn't remember is because they met as kids and he must have protected her. He must have did something for her really nicely. And she saw him and she's like, oh wait, it's that boy again. Or maybe she's just from a distance, just been following this, just been seeing this guy, right? No, not actually. They don't do this trope. Thank God they didn't do that trope, because that's typically a romance trope most of the time in these romance animes, right? Usually when it comes to the main female character saying, oh no, this wasn't the first time we met. I've loved you since we were children, or since we were kids, right? And you get this whole flashback where, oh, main male character met main female character when they were kids. He did something really nice, and the girl fell for him when they were kids, and, she's been in love with him since then. No, they don't do it like that. So, basically, it kind of happened around the time of when they were both coming out of junior high, about to basically go into high school, or probably already in their freshman year of high school, right? And we have a Kaoruko that looked different. She looked a little bit more blue, a little bit more gloomy, a little bit more sad. She had long hair that was not curled up whatsoever. She looked like a generic random ass girl. Now she does specify like she was going through some shit. Now what she was going through, I don't know. Maybe that will be revealed. Like maybe her parents were going through a divorce or something. Or there was family issues going on, or maybe things just weren't going well. I don't know. She doesn't specify what was happening in her past that made her look all gloomy and depressed and everything. I can only anticipate it being some sort of like weird, like, some sort of something happened that happened personally, right? So she talks about how, because of this, she didn't know what to do. She ended up coming across his family shop. So, she talked about how she likes sweets. She goes in this shop, she orders some food, and she eats some cake. And she talked about how the cake essentially, it changed her so good to the point where, like, she had never tried anything that good before. And she got really emotional. So I don't know what the hell problems was happening in her in the past, but it seemed like there was some very deep issues that were going on. So maybe in season 2 they dive more into that, and maybe we get revealed what the whole issue was in Kaoruko's past before she met Rintaro, right? I mean, it might be one of those things, her past comes back to haunt her current present, right? Maybe it's an estranged family member or something like that. I don't know. But clearly she went through some shit that made her this depressed, right? I don't know. Maybe for all we know, maybe it's could be the fact that her parents were making her go to Kikyo and she wanted to go to another school that her old friends from maybe her junior high were going to, right? That could be the reason there too, right? So that could be the case. But then, even though she was crying, it's revealed that Rintaro ended up talking to her and saying these really nice things, and it really took her by surprise, and because of it, you know, she obviously, it was one of the whole things of, she looked at him and the words that he gave of encouragement to her, it was basically the love at first sight. Like, those words changed her, and on top of it, she fell in love with Rintaro the moment she first saw him. So she talks about how, after that day, she changed. She became, the Karuko that we know today. And the fact is, she wanted to continue going back to the shop. And we actually find out, albeit she does like the sweets, she realistically didn't go back to the shop because of the sweets. Because that's what we all thought, that she kept going back to, the sweets. Because especially the way the mom, was talking about her, right? No, she kept going back to the shop because she wanted to go see Rintaro. So we see how she started to change her appearance. She curled her hair more. She wore more proper clothes and dressing herself and getting herself all cute and dolled up. She said she even wore even makeup, did her makeup and everything. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this girl is in love. Ain't no way, she said. And she legitimately is like, look, the sweets were good, but I came to that shop to see you. And I'm like, oh, hell no, bro. This girl was in love, bro. When you have a girl that just randomly meets you and she going home talking about, this guy is kind of cute and I want to see him more. And she was dolling herself up for this. She was dolling herself up for Rintaro. And Rintaro, it's funny now looking back at it, like, Rintaro kind of gave these, like, random ass likes, like, oh. So, we know, like, no, she's been feeling this way all the way back. So when we see them first meet in the episode 1, she was clearly already in love, right? So she goes by the second time, right? And the mom clearly knows, like, oh, yay, hey, how you doing, Wagner? She's like, hey, Sumigi, I'm here to buy some more sweets and everything. And she looks in the back and she sees Rintaro and she's like, he's here, right? And stuff like that. So she wants to ask Sumigi, like, who is that? Back there with the blonde hair, but she doesn't, right? Eventually she goes back, I think a third time, I think the third or fourth time she goes back, and she has the courage and she asks Rintaro's mom, it's like, hey, who's the person with the blonde hair, right? And essentially, Rintaro's mom was like, oh, yeah, so the person in the black over there, that's my husband. The person over there, that's my son. He occasionally helps us out. He's a freshman in high school and everything, so, he occasionally helps us when we need, some help and everything, so yeah. And when she hears, like, oh, he's a freshman, she's like, he's just the same age as me, because she's like, when he talked to me, he looked, like, mature, like he was older. But with her finding out, like, oh no, he's a high schooler just like me, we're the same age, like, I actually have a chance, right? So it ends up happening to where she ended up having another bad day, right? Because she just can't just stop thinking about Rintaro. And it was cool to see from her perspective. Like, we saw throughout all these episodes, when Rintaro first met Wagari, he just couldn't stop thinking about her. Like, especially later on in the show, he just wanted to be with her, and he could not get her out of her head. The same thing applied for Karuko. We see how she could not focus. She legitimately kept thinking about him, and she couldn't stop. So she ended up going, and that was the events of the first episode, right? She didn't want to go to the cake shop because she's like, well, what if Rintaro's not there? Because we found out she ended up going to the cake shop, but he wasn't there at that point in time, right? And she had dolled herself up and everything, right? And I think that's when she found out I think that's when she found out when he wasn't there one of the days, right? So she ended up reluctantly going because she's like, well, okay, what? I'll just go in the shop, get my food. It is what it is, right? And she's not wearing makeup or anything. She's not dolled up, right? So this was obviously the events of the first episode where, Rintaro, they first met each other again at this point in the timeline. And why she abruptly left wasn't because, she was afraid of Rintaro watching her. Nope. She left and she darted out of there because she saw this man and she's like, oh, he actually is here, and I'm not looking cute for him. That's why she left, which was absolutely hilarious. The fact that she just dipped and she ran away because she wasn't wearing any makeup. She didn't look cute at all, which was funny to say the least, right? Um, that typical girl in love type of thing, right? She wants to make an impression. And also we know that's when, that's when they re-met each other again. She formally introduced herself. And, the thing is, she felt some sort of way, especially when he protected her. And then that even leads us into the scene when they first saw each other, when they were obviously, saw each other from each other's windows at their school. And she saw him and because she was like, I wonder what he's doing and everything. And that's when she opens up the blinds and sees like, it's Rintaro. And that's when Rintaro was like, what the hell? If you remember that one episode, he immediately shut. And then she closed it and she's just like, he goes to the school across from me. And she obviously is all giddy and happy because it's like the boy that I like, was right next door. And everything. And, obviously that was the whole thing. And that's how she explains her backstory and everything when it comes to Rintaro. And then she basically ends off their conversation by saying, I love you too, Rintaro. She doesn't say I love, she said, I love you. And I'm just like, yes, yes. He walks up, and that's kind of where it ends, and you kind of get a nice moment between the two. They don't say any words of like, hey, we're going to, hey, let's do this. Let's start going out as a couple, right? And things like that. And I'm just like, okay, and that's where we get the credits, right? And you see these moments and everything between the two with them hanging out with their own friends and stuff like that. And you get this nice shot of clearly them together, and everything, looking at each other and then walking, and it was a great moment. Man, really great. Now I kind of do wish, we kind of got a post-credit scene where they hold hands as they're leaving the festival, and that basically is a confirmation that they are dating heading into season 2. But regardless, it was still a beautiful ending. How basically these two people were basically meant for each other, and how they both were going through tough times, and by meeting each other, they ended up coming out of it being better, better people, and their lives were changed because of one another. So honestly, at this point, they don't really care about the school thing. They want to be together. And I really do like that. So that's basically it. We have yet to get a confirmation of a season 2. I do expect this show to be announced for a season 2. I hope so soon. Otherwise, I might have to start reading the fucking manga, and see where that's going to be heading next after this chapter or after this episode, because I want more Fragrant Flower Blooms of Dignity. If they look, I'm gonna give it about a month. If they don't announce a season 2 in a month, I'm gonna jump into the manga, bro. I'm going to jump into the manga if they don't give me at least within the season, within a month's time. So if they don't announce anything in October for a new second season of Fragrant Flower Blooms of Dignity, then I will be jumping into the manga November 1st. So that's the whole thing. But look, man, at the end of the day, this show was a great show. This show was a phenomenal show. It is in my top 3 of romance shows. And this is one of these shows that legitimately, I'm just like, no, I could be in a bad mood. I could be in a pissed off mood. I just got to turn in my Fragrant Flower Blooms of Dignity, and I'll be happy as can be. It's one of those shows where you can be in a bad mood, and you come out of this show, and this show makes it all worth it. It also makes it more worth it the fact that the show also further confirms I need a girlfriend like Kaoruko Wagari. That's what I need. I need that type of girl. So, yeah, it was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. The relationship between Kaoruko and Rintaro was just so adorable. It was so cute. and see the growth of their relationship grow throughout all these 12 episodes in one season alone. And on top of it, seeing the growth of Rintaro's character, how he was kind of a guy that kept to himself, but the moment he met Wagari, or Kaoruko, he opened up a lot more, and he ended up becoming, quote unquote, more selfish to want to be with her. And I appreciate it. And this episode did a great job at explaining Wagari's point of view and explaining why she likes Rintaro, why she fell in love with him, and why she's just as much selfish for him as he is for her. So, yeah. Now, obviously, again, like I said, this show had its issues when it came to the streaming platform. Again, right now, the series is streaming on Netflix right now, officially in the West. Now, apparently, I will go back and rewatch the show in the dub. Apparently, I guess some fans who've been watching, or some people who have been watching, they have been hating the dub. I guess they do not like Kaoruko's VA. Personally, if you ask me, I've yet to listen to the dub. I haven't not to watch it. Now, from what I hear, apparently the VA is new to like voice acting and everything, so it's kind of thing. And I guess, listening or hearing or looking at other people's thoughts about it, people have been saying she has been getting better. But, look, if you're going to judge a voice actress for their job, they're doing the best they can. Like, blame the director on the way how they're making the character sound, right? And again, with these voice actors, especially if it's a newer voice actor, they got to get the understanding of the character. It's kind of a week-to-week thing where they may improve and they may get better as the more they understand the character, right? And maybe that's what's going on. Maybe the voice actor of Kaoruko started off a little bit rough, but maybe as the episodes are going on, she's understanding her character, understanding her voice range, and maybe the director also is like, hey, let's try it for this. Like, for all we know, maybe they're dubbing the episodes week by week, and everything. And the director maybe sees some criticism and maybe like, okay, hey, let's make this voice a little bit better here, right? But, you can't really judge voice actor and their performance. Like, I don't really judge these voice actors like crazy even if it's not the best voice actor, right? I just don't like people judging voice actors for doing their job. Like, they're just doing what they're doing. Like, dog, you would not like to be critiqued yourself and for people to come on and say, yo, you're a shit, at doing what you're doing. Like, yeah, okay. Is there sometimes, and I know I'm a sports dude, sometimes, yes, I call out and I say, this dude sucks on my freaking favorite sports team. Like, I'm not saying that there can't be room for improvement. It's just in the moment, in the now, he sucks. But I'm not going to go out there now unless I really legitimately hate the person. I'm now sports kind of somewhat different because I will probably verbally berate the guy in a respectful way and won't say any derogatory terms or anything. But you get my point. Like, for people who are going crazy over and shitting on the Kaoruko English dub voice actress, like, come on now, let's give it some time. Apparently, from what people are saying, she's starting to sound better. It takes a bit. And again, like I said, I think she's a newer voice actress to the voice acting world. So, maybe it's her first big time gig, right? We don't know. I don't know. I haven't looked into what other roles this voice actress has done, right? And if it's one of her, first big gigs, well, of course, maybe she is just learning the voice again, learning the characters. Sometimes that happens. But, I always chalk it up to people who like to complain how to complain. But that's the thing. But if you want to get more Fragrant Flower Bloom's Dignity, I guess go watch the version on Netflix, the dub version on Netflix, if you can stand it. I guess if you disagree with the voice. But great show. I do expect this to get a season 2 announcement sometime down the road. And we'll be back with more Kaoruko and Rintaro. So, yeah. But anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity content on the channel or any other anime or manga content I upload to the channel and stuff like that. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna go off here, guys. Catch you guys in the video, and I will catch you guys on the next video, next review. Till then, guys, peace.